Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Microsoft AI Bootcamp. My name is Luca de Belliac. My pronouns are he, him. Today, I'm sitting in Singapore office, and I'm wearing a lilac white striped shirt, and I am almost 21 years in Microsoft, doing a lot of different things. But today, I would like to introduce you to foundations of AI success. We're going to be talking about how to leverage AI for your customers, for your solutions, and what do we need to take care of when we're thinking about implementing an AI solution. My current title is General Manager for Azure Infrastructure, so I'm really familiar with this content, and I hope you will be by the end of this session as well. So we know a certain thing. We know that AI is actually transforming the world. Like you read in the news, you've seen it. In different presentations, everybody's talking about AI. How do we implement AI? What does AI actually mean for us? And in Microsoft, we kind of figured out there are going to be 4 major buckets where you will be able to leverage AI solutions in order to actually do better for your internal customers or for your external customers. First of all, we believe there's going to be quite a big increase in employee productivity. So you would be using AI solutions to actually enhance the way how people do things inside of your company. How do they access their knowledge? How do they answer the questions internally or interact with each other? That's like the natural way of how you would implement AI solutions. Then you would go maybe deeper and you would be starting reshaping the business process that you have, or maybe multiple processes, and seeing like, can I learn something? Can AI help me optimize those processes? Now, of course, we need to think about our customers. How do we make it better for our external customers, right? When they interact with our product, when they buy our product, when they get our services, can we do something for them and leverage AI in that space? And then finally, AI will bring a new way of how we innovate things. Either deploying a new solution, if you're, for example, in the IT space, if you're in manufacturing, a new way of how you will design your product or how will you build your product. So there's a lot of different ways of how we will be leveraging AI. So it's a really important topic, and it's really great that you start understanding how to build your strategy around AI. Now, when we talk about AI, of course, there are a couple of angles to it. First of all, you need to understand where you are on the journey of AI. Are you just getting ready, understanding the first use cases, first scenarios, using the tools that are available out there on the market? Or are you already mature and you're trying to define AI and your strategy and you're leading everything through AI? Now, don't be alarmed. Not many companies are in that state yet, but we are slowly getting towards that area. When you're going to start using using the tools that are out of the box. And then as you progress, you will be building more and more on your own. So this is a capability that you need to think about where you're going to implement the strategy in your company or your environment. And what we like to talk to customers about, we kind of talk to them about, hey, there are different ways of where you are. We can kind of put you in this nice quadrant around their maturity and your needs, from, hey, I'm evaluating AI to I'm developing AI. So regardless in which quadrant you are, it's okay to be there. It just gives us an indication of how we can guide you on your transition to the next quadrant, or to the where you want to be tomorrow in the next 12 or 24 months. And you're not alone. If we're looking at how the market is responding, there's some interesting facts that we got from the analysts. For example, IDC says 66% of cloud applications would use AI by 2026. That's quite a lot. Like 2/3 of all the applications will be using AI in the next 2 years. So I think we're on a major breakthrough here. Now, what's really interesting to me is that 44% of the organizations that were queried say that they will go through a data modernization project in 2024. So they're realizing that data is super important when we're trying to adopt AI. And I will tell you later how it all fits together. And then 70% of the companies interviewed say they will choose a trusted cloud platform to deploy AI, and hopefully Microsoft is one of those platforms, and tell you how the whole stack fits together. But it's really a great indicator also saying that you cannot do this on your own. You need to have a place to host these models to integrate the solutions. And then finally, 60% of all the employees will have some kind of prompt engineering training. Now, this is a totally new capability you need to build, because as we interact with the large language models, prompt engineering becomes super important. How do I get the right data out if I put the right question in? And it requires a bit of learning, and a lot of our employees will need to learn how to use that in the most effective way. Now, when we start using and deploying AI at scale, then the following happens. For the AI pilot, it's quite easy. Everybody wants to jump and say, hey, I'm going to quickly deploy, for example, Microsoft Copilot. I'm going to deploy it for 300 users. It's easy. Here you go. Start using it. We connect some data. Is it a service? We do some of your data. It's quick connectivity. It's safe. Easy to do. Now, when you're scaling out to the whole company, it becomes totally different. What we have seen with early adopters of AI is that as they reach around 10 different use cases, then the network becomes important, the data becomes important, the latency, the security, the governance, how much is this actually costing us? So when we're trying to use this like across the company as a product and start integrating it, we need to think more holistically about the whole AI infrastructure. So what Microsoft says is, great, yes, we have the platform, but start thinking bigger. So on one side, yeah, there's going to be LLMs, there's going to be machine learning models, there's going to be AI services you will be integrate. But for proper integration, you need the data. So what is your data platform? How can you make sure the latency between the data and your AI application is close? Are you running your application? Is it containers? Is it scalable? Can you scale globally? Can you scale to thousands of people internally and externally? And then how do you have that infrastructure available to scale, to be flexible? Those are like the core pillars. We should not forget, though, security. It is super interesting what Gartner did. They did analysis of the early AI adopters, and they realized that 41% of the companies that adopted AI, and primarily large language models, had some kind of data security leak, because they didn't know how to control the data that was coming out of the model. Because if you're smart, asking the model, and you don't have the right security or AI content safety in place, data might come out. And if you ground that model on your data, then you have a security leak. So 41% of them had some kind of challenge with that. So security is super important. And then, of course, at the end, cost and governance. And Microsoft, we believe we give you solution holistically. And what I'm going to do now, I'm going to try to tell you how all these concepts that are superbly important fit together. Because at Microsoft, we do have stack that does end-to-end, it's integrated end-to-end, and it can help you on this journey. How we call our stack, we call it Microsoft Copilot stack. And it encompasses what you see also on the slide. It encompasses on the bottom the whole Azure infrastructure. It's infrastructure, it's data, it's the models. It encompasses all the developer tools that you see on the side, and the Copilot that you see on the side. And then on the top, we give you a framework where you can extend your copilots, the ones that we provide to you, or you build your own copilots and you integrate it into other AI solutions. And of course, we offer you to run that in our cloud, and we will offer you also ways of how you can maybe do that in your own environment, or maybe in a flexible way in your personal device, if that is what you will be needing. Across all of it, we also put AI safety and security. So now let me walk you through each of the parts of this stack so that you understand how it fits together. First of all, we're going to start with the AI infrastructure. And this is what we mean with AI infrastructure. We're talking about Azure Cloud Platform. Just to recap, Azure Cloud Platform, we are the biggest cloud providers in the world, right? We have 61 regions where we have multiple data centers. We have over 300 plus data centers at the moment. We are embarking on 500 new data center projects at this moment as we speak. So we're building out massive global footprint of data centers where we run our Azure platform and all the other services. We are bigger than all the other cloud providers together. So the scale, the sheer scale is just amazing. Now, what this gives us on one side, a way of how we can offer you services globally, and a way of how we can offer you some unique services also globally. For example, our network, being one of the biggest networks in the world, we can offer that to you as a service. So you can traverse your data globally, you can interconnect your users or your offices or your suppliers' offices globally in a secure and safe way with an SLA that we provide to you. We also give you security tools to protect everything. What's also interesting is, as we are one of the biggest security providers with all the security services that we give to you, we also have over 3,500 security specialists in our cyber defense center. Because the exposure of our data center footprint is so big, we get a lot of signals. We see what's going on in the market, we see what some malicious code attacks could be, etc., and we're detecting that. The learnings we get from all that data, we then incorporate into our tools that we allow for you to use so that you can protect yourself better. So it's a really end-to-end solution with security top of mind. Now, we are trying also to be supercomputer in terms of AI infrastructure. And when we're talking about AI infrastructure, people usually think, oh, GPU, have I the latest GPUs? Can I run that in the fastest way? And yes, we work with our different providers, with NVIDIA, with AMD, etc., to make sure that we're running the models in the fastest way, that you can train your models in the fastest way, inference the models in the fastest way. And we also created, we have the third fastest supercomputer that's running on Azure on the top 500 list of supercomputers. So we kind of really can show you the amazing power that we have in our Azure platform. We don't stop there, right? In the infrastructure, we're investing more and more new things. For example, on the networking side, you would think, networking, hey, is this really something to invest into? Of course, because of the amounts of data we need to move, we invested in hollow core fiber and seen like 47 times increase in the traffic over network. We're increasing in things like Azure Boost, which is basically offsetting the virtualization, all the virtualization layer from your host. So it's done in a different part of the hardware, and your hosts are then fully focused on running your workloads. We're increasing storage access, local storage access. We're also investing into the silicon. So some of the chips that we designed will gradually come to the market. We're using them internally. You've seen the Azure Cobalt, our CPU, and Azure Maya, which is our AI accelerator chips, and those slowly will come to you as well. We're building our NVIDIA SKUs, right? The latest NVIDIA chipset will come out, and also AMD MI300X will be one of the chipsets that will be available in our data sets for you to use. So we give you a mixture of whatever you would like to use for different price points, for different performance sets, but it is one platform where you can actually scale and do AI in the most, I would say, optimized way. Now, what I also like to stress talking about infrastructure is the resilience, because everybody talks about, oh, is cloud resilient? When we talk about resilience, we need to know it's a shared responsibility, right? We will do everything we can from our data center, from our infrastructure, making sure we hit all the SLAs, and also making sure to give you all the tools so you can implement a resiliency into your solutions. And we do resiliency checks for you, etc. But there are tons of solutions of how you can deploy through availability zones. So we have multiple data centers in each region, so you can deploy across data centers, so you're not reliable on one data center. If it goes down, your application is still running. We can also do disaster recovery across regions. We have regions connected together. We have tons of tools where you can actually implement different resilience patterns into your application. So do make sure that you leverage that. There is a set of tools, and we are really kind of say paranoid to make sure that your solution is done in a resilient way. So please do follow our guidance. Similarly, on the security side, we have layers of security that we implement in our data centers, and we have all this compliance to prove how our data centers are run. But then we also give you all the services so that you can implement multi-layer security controls. On one side, of course, it all starts with identity, and we have a comprehensive identity management. We then have the application security and data security, and we can do different things. We can do data encryption at rest, which everybody does, in transit, which also everybody does, but then we also do data encryption in time of computation. So if you really want to have your data protected end-to-end and encrypted, we have something called confidential compute. We have a few SKUs, both AMD and Intel, that are running that. You will see more and more of our new SKUs coming out, or new virtual machines and other services that will use confidential compute by default. It's really important. Then you're encrypted end-to-end. Whenever your data is, it's in a safe way, even inside of the CPU being processed. We do tons on the networking security, first-party services, as I said, also third-party services that can integrate with Azure. And we give you a holistic threat protection, right? We have a CM system where you can collect the data and holistically see what's going on, behaviors of people who are using different services or accessing different data. We span across Azure to Office 365, M365. So there is like a really holistic way of how to assess the threat. And we give you a way of how to manage security even beyond the data center. You can go and connect on-premise and even other hybrid scalars. Wherever you have your infrastructure deployed, we will be able to see how to update, how to run, how it is secured, role-based access, and similar things. So we have a holistic way of how to provide you security controls. Now, what we learn deploying that for our customers, we also publish. We have something that's called well-architected framework. It's a framework on which we say, hey, this is how you should run your solutions in the best way. First, of course, to optimize the cost, to have operational excellence, but also to have the resilience that we believe you need to have. And our teams can go and review your solution and give you recommendations to see, hey, are you running the solution the right way, in the way that you're going to get the resilience and SLAs that you expect for your internal or external customers. We also have cloud adoption framework. If you're just starting the journey, that's kind of like pre-ideas of how you want to deploy. But then once you're running, as I said, we call it well-architected framework. And we also have published an AI-ready infrastructure, because we have first movers. We have customers who already deployed the applications, the data storage, the networking connectivity to on-premise or different solutions, and the AI solution. And it's quite complex. We publish it, we can guide you through it, but what we want to say is there is already a lot of content and documentation out there, so you don't need to start from scratch. So we can help you on the journey, and we have some best practices already. So it's not so early days as you might have think or thought, but like it is definitely something to think about. It is more complex than maybe just you thought at the beginning. So that's about the infrastructure, right? You understand hopefully Azure, the scale of Azure, and how we can help you with the architecture. Now, when we talk about the data, and data is the next layer, data is basically the fuel that powers AI. Because when you're using the large language models or other AI services, you will need to ground them on some data, the data that will prove the context for your internal users, for your end customers. So now you need to think about, how do I store the data? How do I make it available? What are the query latencies? Can I do it at scale? Does it index in the right way? A lot of questions need to be answered, and you need the right holistic platform to store your data. Now, at Microsoft, we believe we have what we call Microsoft Intelligence Data Platform. It comprises of many first-party services. So we have different databases, SQL database, Cosmos database, Postgres, MySQL. All of those are managed services. We have our core analytics system called Microsoft Fabric that builds a lot of different pieces together, also for training and inferencing, and for picking up different parts of the data from other cloud environments as well. We work with other third-party providers like Azure Databricks, and we integrate them as first-party services inside of our portfolio of services. Because you love Databricks, they have some amazing services. We will let you use that in a really native way, in a secure way. We integrate that, and then we have our AI services and data governance tools. Now that's all first-party. Of course, we offer also third-party services. If you want to run Snowflake, MongoDB, Oracle, Redis, all of these different data solutions, you can run them on Azure as well. They are available on Marketplace, and you can deploy them and integrate them with your current applications or environment as you see fit. So we give you a holistic way of first-party, third-party services that you can leverage, and then you can store the data in a way that's going to be easily accessible to your AI solution that you would be running on Azure. Now, Microsoft Fabric, this is our, I would say, core flagship product for future as a data platform. It will unify all of different scenarios of how people work with data. From data scientist, we have one view for a person that's doing reporting, another view for maybe database administrator, another view. We're going to unify the storage and compute, give you a really centralized way of how you actually purchase the data and how we charge you for the data, give you an easy way of how to govern the data, and give you like a unified experience, as I said, that's gonna change according to what your role's persona is and what access you have to the database. So stay tuned. There's a lot of features that are already available. There's a lot of features that are going to be coming with Microsoft Fabric, but that's like Microsoft flagship platform that we're going to be building our story around. What we need to mention about is data governance, right? Data governance so far, as we've seen it in implemented in different environments, is all about data security. How can I protect the data? How can I manage the risk of not letting the data go? How can I make sure that people cannot access the data or only can see a certain portion of the data, right? And managing the lineage of the data, how is it used? Was there any data leakage? There was a lot of kind of like protective ways of how to govern the data and defend the data. And that's great, right? We need to do that. But now you need to also think about, if I really want to get to that AI innovation, and the fact the data fuels the AI innovation, then maybe you will need to release some of the data to certain parts of the company so they can be creative, they can be innovative, they can use the AI solutions on top of that data, which means you will be probably monitoring that in a different way. You will probably teach your end users on how to protect the data or what they need to be careful about the data. So it's going to shift a bit. It's going to be a bit stressful maybe at times, but you need the tooling to actually capture all of that. So at Microsoft, we believe we have a holistic solution for securing and governing your data. It's called Microsoft Purview. And it enables you all the basic security tasks like data loss prevention, information protection, everything I was mentioning about. It also is really strong in terms of data governance. So how do I manage the data? How do I expose the data? How do I make sure that the data is used in a responsible way? So a lot of things need to be done here. As I mentioned, with AI integration, we will need more and more functionality like that. And at the end, how to manage the risk and compliance. How do we audit the data? How do we do data lifecycle management, records management, similar things. So we give you a integrated solution in Microsoft Purview. As said, functionalities keep on coming and coming, and we are developing that as we are enhancing our data platform as well. So quite interesting angle to think about, and maybe also to look into with Microsoft Purview. Now we talked about the data. We're going to move now to what everybody's excited about: foundation models, AI orchestrations, and etc. Right? How does that pillar fit into the whole infrastructure? First of all, I would like to stress Microsoft runs on Azure AI. So we are self-using all of our services, all of our tools that are running on our platform at scale, because as you see, we have millions and millions of users. And it's either Microsoft Copilot that many customers implementing. Microsoft Copilot for security is super interesting now, just released on how to look into your security environment in a smart way with AI support for Dynamics, for Service, Copilot for PowerPoint. We have GitHub Copilot, which is for developers to help them code. We have even nuanced copilot, which is called Dex Copilot, for the hospital data and administrative data there, and how to get AI insights from that. So a lot of solutions are already running on Azure AI. So we're using it, we're implementing it. Now, you need to also understand that Microsoft Azure AI, it's not just a large language model. That's just like what they made the hype currently. We have over 35,000 customers that are already using AI solutions. So we have a lot of Azure AI services. You can think of speech recognition, text to speech, image recognition. All of those things were available and already integrated in many solutions. We have Azure Machine Learning, which is basically an environment for you to train your models, machine learning models, other models, and then also inference and integrate and publish those models to make the inference in real-time applications. And we have a responsible AI tooling. I'm going to touch upon that a bit later, but a way of how you do AI in a responsible way. Below, we also have a studio, Azure AI Studio, a holistic way of how you're going to build your AI solutions, either copilots or other solutions, integrate, doing RAG, retrieval augmented generation, things, pick up different ways to interact different parts of the application together. So we have a holistic way of how to offer that. Now, of course, we also have Azure Open AI Service, and this is connected to the models that OpenAI is publishing, and we immediately publish as well at the same time. But what we offer is enterprise security and compliance on top of that. We offer that they run in your environment, that we have the throughput available for you, so you can make sure that there is an SLA guaranteed to it. And you see, we're publishing new models. 4.0 was the latest model for, and also we did the 4.0 like a mini smaller model that you can definitely leverage in a more optimized way. It's not going to stop there. So there's not going to be only one model. There's going to be plenty of models you would be using, right? Because you will integrate different models, some niche models, some other models. Of course, we'll offer you the best that we have. And a 4.0 or Azure OpenAI model, GPT 4.0 is one of the best models currently, but maybe you want to use some other models. Maybe you want to do 5 models, which are more small language models that you will be more flexible using in different environments. We work with Meta on Llama models, and we offer that for you to integrate in the Azure AI Studio. Mistral AI, Cohere, Hugging Face, Databricks, tons of models, right? You will use many of them. You will have probably a team who will know how to integrate all of them. What we're trying to say is offering you a platform and a way of how you can easily integrate that into your environment, running in Azure, and making it safe and secure in your subscription in Azure. So that's how we think about the models. Now we come to the whole way of how we develop the solutions, AI solutions, and what does the Copilot stack and extensibility mean for you. First of all, when we talk about the development environment with Visual Studio, now Copilot Studio and GitHub, we believe we have what we say the world's most loved developer tools, because there's a lot of developers using our solutions. They're like easy to use, they span different technologies, and we're quite proud of that. So we're developing new functionality to make development easier for you. GitHub itself, what we call it AI-powered developer platform, the whole DevOps enabled solution for the enterprises. It has over 100 million developers that use it. Tons of contributions are made there. It is also a massive repository for open source software. Microsoft contributes there a lot as well, and many of the things we are developing, we're publishing on GitHub. So definitely something we're investing in, and we're keeping it as a core for our development story. So do check it out. And we have done GitHub Copilot that was basically a smart companion for you when you're doing coding, and we're going further with our copilots. So currently we offer GitHub Copilot for Azure. So what that does is not just helping you code, but it actually looks in your Azure environment. So when you're coding, you could ask a question, hey, how will this code perform on my Azure subscription? What will be the impact? How should I deploy that? So getting the knowledge of Azure environment when you're doing your coding, now this will become more seamless. So we think that's quite important for you when you're deploying solutions for the Azure platform. Similarly, we're also building Azure Copilot. That's going to be a Copilot sitting in your subscription in Azure, helping you figuring out optimization, impact on your environment when you're doing changes, etc. So a lot of ways of how you can see we're integrating AI to make it easier for you. Now, then we come to the Microsoft Copilot Studio. That's kind of a new one. It's generally available, and it's a tool set that enables you a quick way, even low-code way of creating either your own Copilot. So, hey, you would like to create your own Copilot, you're calling your own data, your own models, you're integrating everything, you're serving it up, in example, like in a Teams environment or your own web application. You could also use Copilot Studio to basically alter your existing Copilot that Microsoft offers, right? So it's like, oh, Microsoft, I like your Copilot, but I would like to have some additional plugins here that will reach out to my data or answer some specific questions or look into my Salesforce or some other things. We provide a lot of plugins already by default, so many things you will not need to develop. You will just enable and connect. But maybe you will develop yours as well, and Copilot Studio will be the first way of how to do that. So we're thinking about, hey, how do we democratize also development of AI? Now, thinking back, before I was talking about data and giving data to end users so they can unleash creativity. Well, with tools like this, we can actually then give you the whole holistic way of how to do that. So innovation becomes part of your day-to-day life. And now we need to talk about the AI safety and security. That's the top and surrounding, I would say, theme around developing these solutions. What we have in Microsoft is what we call like our 5 enterprise AI commitments. And some might be obvious, but I'm going to still reiterate them because they're really, really important. First of all, your data is your data. It's a funny sentence, but we say your data is your data, and what we mean by that, and that's legally described on our websites and etc. We do not use your data to actually develop any of the large language models, etc. So we don't use your data to train any of the models. That should be super clear. When you ground your model with your data in your environment, that's only available to you. It's secure. It doesn't leave that environment. So your data is your data, and we're like superbly clear, and we make sure that is done in such a way, because it's super important that you know that your data doesn't leave. And I've told before how paranoid we are about the data, and with bringing the tools and making sure that we give you also the tools so you know where the data is, but we're making sure that your data is your data. We don't use it at all to train any models. Second, we have a customer copyright commitment. I mean, it's not totally new thing. We've done it a while ago. Basically what it says, if you're using an AI solution and there could be a potential, copyright, somebody says, hey, your AI solution returned something that I think it's a copyright violation, Microsoft will take liability for that, and we're gonna take care of it. So I encourage you, look through the customer copyright commitment, super important. We're also doing responsible AI, and we have the whole toolkit around responsible AI. I'll talk about that later, but we are thinking ahead of how do we actually use this technology in a responsible way? Because as you can see, it's powerful and it can be misused. So we want to make sure that it's done in the right way and we're using it in the right way. And then 2 important things: secure future initiative that Microsoft is doing. How do we secure all the products and environments? And what's the impact on sustainability? Looking at the Microsoft responsible AI approach, we have a set of principles. It's a whole framework of how we develop our own solutions and how we guide you to develop solutions and give you also some of the tool set to test and deploy those solutions. But we make sure that it's fair for every user, that it's transparent of how the solutions are used. Of course, needs to be reliable and safe to use. It needs to be inclusive of everyone that's using AI solutions. So no bias could be there when we're using these solutions. No bias could be in the models that are being used, etc. So and there's a lot of standards we put around that. Super important, and something we all need to think about and implement as we're designing AI solutions. It's going to be imperative that we do it in a responsible way. Of course, in Microsoft, we have a way of monitoring, reporting, auditing, compliance, and we'll give you the tools as well to do that when you're deploying your solutions. Secure Future Initiative is something that Microsoft started a couple of years ago. It's again a doubling down on how we want to protect all the environments that are running on our cloud platform, all the solutions that are running, all of your environments that are running. by making sure that everything is secure by design, whatever we're developing. And which means, we're protecting identities, isolating tenants, networking. By design, everything needs to be secure by default. All the security features will be turned on by default, zero trust enforced by default. And everything we do is on the operation side will be secure, how we monitor, detect threats, how quickly we respond to any challenges and give you solutions that will help you resolve if you have any security challenges. And we're continually improving and continually publishing and giving you the tools to also secure your environment. And that brings us to what we call Azure Zero Trust Security Strategy. We basically give you the tools, and we have a holistic tool set across 50 different, I would say, security areas we can protect with our tools. We basically tell you implement zero trust. So don't trust anything until it's authenticated user that's accessing only the data they can use for only the time they can use. Make sure that everything is kind of protected, and you can monitor it, and you can see the behavior of your people, that you can manage the devices, endpoints, and different applications. So we're giving you a holistic way of how to do the zero trust. And please do look at solutions that Microsoft provides you and that you can implement, and many times they're tightly integrated in your environments already. As I said, on top of that, there will be Azure Security Copilot for Security, which will take all the details out of the CM system and other system and give you a way of how to see what's happening inside of your environment in terms of security, and if you have any challenges, how to resolve that, and what happened actually in your environment. Superbly powerful. Now, of course, you are using for sure also third-party security products, but we try to integrate and collect the data and give you a really, really holistic way of how to implement that in Azure and also beyond Azure in many cases. For the AI models, we also have tools like Azure AI Content Safety. It's a tool that you can use when you actually get inputs into your large language model powered AI solution, or when that solution answers something to the end user, you want to probably have some filter, that this is not offensive, that the data is not leaking, that shouldn't go out, and you can check, different angles. And it's out of the box tool that we're refining and giving to you so that you can also measure that. Superbly important. And we can look through text data, video, images. And of course, we're going to be building more and more functionality into this. But if you're thinking about developing your AI solution, you need something like Azure AI Content Safety Studio. Now, finally, we come to sustainability, right? There's a lot of discussion about, AI is going to increase the computational power. How does that impact the green nature of my sustainability goals? On Microsoft, we're really committed to this, right? We have our goals, carbon neutral 2035, reducing all the carbon that we ever created as a company by 2050. So there's a lot of efficiency in how we optimize our data centers, energy, water, waste disposals. How do we get carbon removal and water replenishment done? We're really focused on that, and you can read all about that. It's published, and we have a lot of innovation going on. We're also using a lot of low carbon materials in our data centers, right? Green building materials, even figuring out things for aviation fuel and how to do it sustainable way, how to optimize the supply chain so that uses less carbon exhaust, etc. So it's a lot of efforts we're putting there. But at the end, we're also improving the AI efficiency. We believe we need to improve how things will run in data centers, how we can optimize the chipsets, how the infrastructure structured so that we do not use as much energy that we would if we don't optimize that. So you will see a lot of silicon innovation and AI optimization coming there. And you've seen, I talked about it. We're building some own chips, silicon chips, but we're also using others in a way that is optimized. So you will see that we're trying to do everything sustainable by design, and you will see a lot of innovation in this area. With that, I kind of gave you a holistic way, right? What Microsoft Azure platform is. I went through infrastructure, data, our AI models, the development tool change, Copilot stack, and how you can extend that. And I talked about AI context safety, responsible AI, sustainability, security, and some other commitments that we offer. Now, big call to action for you is when you start the journey, right, we want to tell you're not alone. Reach out to Microsoft. There's a lot of different angles you need to think about, from security, from data infrastructure, from AI infrastructure, from different toolkits to use, support that you get, moving to different environments, how to use small language models, etc., and also how to learn and skill. At Microsoft, we have different teams and different people to help you. So big key takeaway, please reach out. We will help you on the journey. As you've seen, we've done it with many customers, and we have a pattern and a roadmap of how to get you there. And we're looking forward to be on this journey with you. With that, I want to thank you. Thank you for participating in this bootcamp. I think in the chat window, there's going to be a survey. Please give us your feedback. Please also go to the other days, go to the link that's provided here to participate in other sessions. I believe you're going to learn a lot. And we, as I said, we thank you and we hope we're going to be on this AI journey with you. Thank you very much.
We hope you enjoyed this digital event. We have specialists on standby to answer your questions for a short while. To ask a question, type it into the chat window now and we'll get to it as quickly as we can.